it's something about getting run over and getting back up and doing it again. You know what I mean? And you talking about tough. You talking about mental toughness. Because again, even your boys laughing at you. It's just a part of life, man. Everybody's gonna fall. Everybody's gonna get knocked down. Everybody's gonna be laughed at. Everybody's gonna be talked about. Everybody's gonna come up short. But what are you gonna do tomorrow? What are you gonna do tomorrow? I mean, you gotta learn to fight, Tony.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You gotta learn to fight.
Mental toughness.
Listen, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
The mental toughness mindset.
I had to go to grow.
Covers up. The big happens. The big happens.
Martin Luther King.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Let's get started here for another episode of Elite Psyche, the mental toughness mindset show. We're going away from the pod. We're going to go to the show. And today we have another special guest that I'm going to bring up in a minute. I'm really excited about this guest I've been knowing for probably the last 10 years here in Atlanta. But I do have a sponsor that I want to read a little bit about today. This is our first sponsor for the Elite Psyche, and just want to read a little bit about the company, which is Southeast Mortgage, your local mortgage lender. For the first time home buyers to refinances and all the life's major moments in between, Southeast Mortgage will help you and your family achieve home ownership. Southeast Mortgage began more than 30 years ago and has a team of professionals right here in the Atlanta area. Get pre-approved in just minutes. Apply anywhere on any device by visiting southeastmortgage.com. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that throughout the interview. And my guy, Billy Witt, who is one of the guys that I reached out to that decided to sponsor this episode of Elite Psyche. So, but without further ado, I want to talk a little bit about my guest, and then I'm gonna bring him up in a minute. I pulled up some stuff from Wikipedia, and my guest is Kevin Whitley. He's an American football coach and former cornerback who was the assistant coach at Georgia Southern University. For the 2021 season, he assumed the role of interim head coach. He was previously the cornerbacks coach at Georgia Southern and was a longtime high school coach in Georgia. Whitley also played professionally in Canadian Football League for the Toronto Argonauts for 3 seasons. And I want to say he played 1 year with the New England Patriots. We're going to talk about that also. So without further ado, let's bring up my guest today, Mr. Coach, not Mr., but Coach.
Either one is fine.
Coach Witt. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Good. So as I was looking through the Wikipedia, and I saw, man, that it was it 6 high schools you coached?
Oh man, you got me on the spot there. 4. Redan. I started Redan High School in the late 90s. Then I moved to North Springs, where I became the head coach the last 2 of those 5 years. Then I moved to Creekside, where I was the head coach for 6 years. Then Stockbridge for 10 years. And then I finished up at New Manchester for about 3 months before I made the jump to college.
Okay, cool, man. So let's let's jump right into this because I know we only got about an hour, and I want to get all I can from you because I remember, was it Redan? Not Redan, no, Stockbridge.
Yes.
Yeah, Stockbridge. And now but let's go back to Redan. That was the first school, right?
Yes, sir. Very first school.
All right.
Never knew I wanted to coach. Just kind of fell into it, you know.
Okay. Well, how did that happen then? That was my question.
Yeah. As you mentioned in the bio, I played professionally for 4 years. The last year, I ended up hurting my knee. I was rehabbing, and then I had a workout with the Carolina Panthers. I didn't get signed, and so I was continuing to work out. Probably could have went back to the Canadian League. And my mom said, "Hey, man, just go up to the school and try, get out the house." And so I figured it was a great way for me to go work in the gym, get a free gym to work out in, and just be out the house. And while I was at Redan, the head football job came open. And okay. I went to the principal, like, what I got to do to be the head coach? And he started talking about certification and stuff I had never heard of. And I was like, man, okay, thank you. I appreciate it. But so what happened, the 2 finalists for that job ended up being good friends of mine. And the guy who got it, Sammy Williams, asked me to come out and help him in the spring. And I was like, hey, man, I'm going back to play, but I'll be glad to go out and help, for the spring practice. Went out there and loved it. So when I didn't get re-signed to anything, I got into coaching. And so I never looked back at that point. At that point, I wouldn't end up going to get certified. And then it just kind of took off from there.
Okay. So you actually grew up in the Decatur, Atlanta area. You didn't attend Redan, though. What high school did you attend?
No, I attended Lakeside High School, which is off of La Vista Road 285. I was part of what they call M2M program. So I didn't live in that neighborhood, but they bused minorities to this school back in the 80s, and that's how I got to Lakeside. So it's probably, a 35-minute, 40-minute bus ride every morning that we did to go to Lakeside.
Okay. All right. And so did you play any other sports at Lakeside besides football?
Yeah, in high school I was football and basketball.
Okay.
And played basketball and football. I should have probably run track, but at that point I just wanted to go home for not stay after school the whole school year. But that's one of my regrets. I wish if I could do it again I would have ran track, but I was just football and basketball.
Yeah, I heard about your high school basketball career. Somebody was telling me that you were out there tackling guys, man. Wait, what was that?
Well, no, I don't think anybody would class for me as a drop dead shooter. But my whole process of playing basketball to help me better at football. I was a defensive back, and so I always really worked well on my defense, try to cut people off, beat them to the spot, anticipate moves. So believe it or not, guarding guys out on the perimeter really helps you from a DB standpoint. And so that's why I think I excelled in basketball, because the ultimate goal was to help me to be a better football player. But I did enjoy basketball. Like I say, start on a team, had some good success there, and score when I can make buckets. Not many.
But you was a better defensive player, huh?
No question.
Okay.
As one of my trophies say, I was the one of the boxing one.
Okay. Okay.
So I normally had the assignment of drawing the best defender. And so, like I said, it helped me become a better football player.
So you were Pat Beverly.
Probably a little quieter version, but yes.
Okay.
Not too much talking.
All right. So tell me about football. Like, did you play in the 9th grade?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Back then, high school in Georgia was 8th through 12th.
Okay.
It was 8th through 12th. But I go back to a story. My first year playing football again, we just kind of fell into it. Me and my brother was out in the yard, and some of our friends walked by us going to football practice. And so we ran in the house, asked my mom, "Hey, can we play football? Can we play football?" And she was like, "Well, when your father get home, ask him." And so we go out there and play. So he lets us play. We go out there and play. The first year, Tony, I was probably the worst football player to ever put on a pair of equipment. The only reason I played, because back then, if your mom paid money, you had to play a certain amount of minutes.
Okay.
And so when it got to, I kind of looked in the stand, drunk Gatorade to the fourth quarter, and then would get put in the games pretty late. So That's how my football career started.
So this was like
75 pounds. 75 pounds, Griffin Park Rattlers.
Okay.
75 pounds. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of heard about that too, man. I've been through the neighborhood asking about you, man. So I was like, I heard that it was another tight end besides Shannon Sharp that wore number 84.
Yes, sir. I was the original 84. And if you did your homework or your research correctly, I didn't catch a pass. I didn't catch one pass that season. You know, and it's funny because that's a story I kind of tell when I go and speak at different places. That year at the banquet, you know, my Coach Lee, I still remember the name, Coach Lee, you know, picks the trophy and say, "Kevin Whitley, come on up." And so I actually walk up to get the trophy, and he reaches out, and I put my hands out. He said, "Don't drop it." And man, everybody in the whole place just bust out laughing. Just absolutely bust out laughing. So I hadn't caught a pass all year, so I figured he thought I was gonna drop the trophy as well.
Yeah.
And, but you know, Tony, it's amazing how things like that happen in your childhood because that event has stayed with me for the last 50 plus years. I mean, 50 years, man. I made a decision after that banquet that nobody was gonna ever laugh at me playing football again, and that has kind of been the driving force.
Man, you remember the Kobe Bryant story? He talked about his what was it?
11 years old and not scoring a point
basket. Yeah,
no doubt.
What was more influential for you, your father or mother?
Both were influential at different points.
Yeah.
Right. My mom was there on a daily basis. My father was really influential at a really critical time where I had a summer where I played basketball when I was like 10 or 11 years old. In a very prominent summer league in Philadelphia called the Sunny Hill League, where my father played, my uncle played, and they were like all-time greats and such stuff. And Wilt Chamberlain played in the league, Earl of Monroe played in the league. And here I come playing, and I don't score 1 point the entire summer.
Really?
Not one.
How old were you?
11, 10, 11.
And you're playing against other 10, 11-year-olds?
Uh-huh.
And you didn't score once?
Not one.
Were you in the game?
I was in the game.
How'd you not score?
Because I was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
At 10, 11 years old, you were that terrible.
Awful. I mean, and I had these big knee pads on because I was growing really fast. And I had socks all the way up here, and I had like the high top
skinny,
fade, like skinny as hell. And I scored not a free throw, nothing, not a lucky shot, not a breakaway layup, 0 points. And I remember crying about it and being upset about it. And my father just gave me a hug and said, "Listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm going to love you no matter what."
Wow.
Now that is the most important thing that you can say to a child. Because from there, I was like, okay, that gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. I have the security there. But to hell with that, I'm scoring 60. Let's go.
Right.
And from there, I just went to work. And I stayed with it, and I kept practicing.
That thing kind of helped me from a different perspective as a coach. What I learned from my own personal experience, you got to coach them all. Mm-hmm. You never know who's going to be the guy, even though you can try to anticipate, this guy's going to be in the pro. No, you don't know because you never know what those people are made of. So it really taught me to coach everybody. And it also taught me to be careful what I say and try to clean it up. A lot of times as a coach, and we talk about the mental toughness part of it, is, you can say something to a kid in practice and you forget about it. And you come the next day and the kid's still mad at you for what you said yesterday and you don't even remember it.
Right.
And so that's in business, that's in everything. So one of the things that I constantly try to do is that after every practice, I leave with something good for that kid to hear from me. Hey, you did this well today. Let's improve this. You did this. Hey, let's do better this day. But, because sometimes in the heat of the battle, you say things and you don't know how people take it.
Right.
And so, again, a valuable lesson for me, and just trying to clean up at the end of the day. And, really, again, it goes down to relationships, Tone. Is that if they know I care, I can push them to the end.
That's it.
I can push them to the end.
Yeah.
And and that's what we try to get to in terms of that part of it.
Yeah, when they know you care. I remember Casey Jones for the Celtics talked about that. He could literally scream in Larry Bird's face in the middle of everybody in practice, and Bird would play better the next game. But if he screamed in front of DJ, the point guard, Dennis Johnson, he'll shut down for 2 weeks.
Ain't no doubt. And I think that is critical because everybody can't be coached the same way.
Right.
You know, everybody can't be. Your kids can't even be taught to the same way.
Right.
You know, so I think you kind of become a gauge of that. You kind of keep your pulse on how can I talk. What everybody has a hot button.
Right.
You know, you find out their why for doing it, and then you constantly keep striking that why up so they'll play hard.
So when you played Canadian and the Patriots, nobody ever said to you, "Man, you a coach." Nobody said.
No, my rookie year with the Patriots, you're just so busy trying to make the team and do all the little things right. Now I will say that I try to pride myself on knowing the playbook, knowing what to do. In college I played 3 different positions, so kind of pride yourself on knowing what everybody's supposed to do. So even though I never thought about being coaching, once I made the move, I think it was pretty natural for me because I felt like I knew not only what the DB did, what the linebacker supposed to do, what the D-line supposed to do, going against elite wide receivers, you kind of get a feel for what everybody's, kind of doing. So, but nobody ever said that. And so, every kid, even the kids I coach now, everybody thinks they're going to play professional ball for 50 years. And, but they, that's the exception. That's not the rule. And so for me, it was 4 years. New England was real short in terms of the NFL. It was, mostly a practice roster situation to where I didn't play any full game. I didn't get credit for any games, more preseason practice roster, what I did there. But once I got released from there, I went to the CFL. It's like every step kind of propelled me to the next thing because I think of what I went through in New England, I was able to be the rookie of the year in Toronto. You know what I mean? Every roadblock pushed me to, go harder. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's how I kind of came.
So was it real cold in Toronto? It is.
It's cold all across Canada, but one thing about football, it starts. Canadian League starts in June, so you're done in December before it gets crazy.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
So they're playing right now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so in a CFL season now, once you get to the Grey Cup and down in December, it's cold, and you do have some cold games, but in January you back in the States. You know what I mean? You're trying to get out of there before it gets crazy. Yeah. But it was some cold games, but their fans in Canada are unbelievable. I mean, it'd be some games you couldn't see each other, but they out there with no shirts on. So
wow. Okay. Well, they got a little booze they put in there.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, no doubt.
So Redan, all right. What was your record there?
Oh man, my first year coaching, I was a DB coach. We were 0-10.
Wow, 0-10?
0-10. Didn't sniff a game.
How did you? I mean, what were you thinking the whole time when y'all were losing? What were you like? I got to get one. I mean, what were you thinking?
Listen, I can tell you some stories about Redan. We were 0-10. Like I said, I was the DB coach, and every week you think you're going to win the next game. You prepare, you get kids ready, you think you're going to win the next game. And we just never got it. So, but what's funny about that first year, because again, it was my first year coaching, trying to fill out, how it's done, all those things. The next year, year 2 at Redan, we go back and look at year 1. I'm like, we didn't have a chance to win these games. But when you're in the middle of it, you actually think you're going to win the game.
Right.
So, we just learned a lot from that, and then the next year we were 2-8 at Redan, so got a little better. But that first year I was like, man, maybe coaching ain't for me.
So did you become a head coach there, or you moved to the next school to be the head coach?
No, I was actually the DB coach, just the DBs for 2 years.
Okay,
that was at Redan, and then my head coach at Redan, he got the job at North Springs. I had never heard of North Springs. And I was living in DeKalb County, so I was maybe 10 minutes away from Redan. So when he went to North Springs, he was like, man, come on, go up here with me, help me build this program. I was like, Coach, I can't go to North Springs. It was 45 minutes away, and look, traffic goes an hour and a half.
I'm in Atlanta. Where is North Springs?
Roswell Road.
Okay, I got you.
Roswell Road 285. I just never heard of it. It's right there at 285 in Roswell?
Yeah,
once you go outside the perimeter. So once you get off the Roswell Road, make a right turn, it's up on the right. So it's right.
Okay.
Good location.
Okay.
And so it was a really good school. But when we got there in 98, they hadn't been to the playoffs since 1981.
Wow.
And man, there was some players. I mean, we had some players. I mean, we can go on and on about the guys, but we had some players. I was like, man, why are these guys not winning? So when I went to visit the school and met the principal, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. So went to North Springs. The first year, man, we make it to the quarterfinals. We go make the playoffs first time in 20 years. I mean, it was a real good experience. But I left there as a DB coach and became the defensive coordinator. So I was defensive coordinator at North Springs for those first 3 seasons. Then when our head coach got left, I became the head coach for the last 2.
Okay. And then where did you go after that? Was it Stockbridge?
After that, you know, I was the head coach and AD at North Springs. And I was at the AD meeting one day, and the coach said, man, you know, Creekside needs a head coach. You need to go check it out. And I knew they had a winning tradition. School always had good players, so I was, you know, piqued my curiosity. So went down, interviewed for the job. At that time, me and Star were engaged. We were going to get married, so I took her with me, and I think that's why I got the job, because she went with me.
Okay.
But I got that job, and
well, I'm sure she says that too. Huh?
Oh, no question. Okay. Yeah, and so got the job, and there. You know, had some immense talent. Eric Berry, who a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah.
He was a 9th grader. And so we came in together, you know, won a lot of ball games there. And so I was head coach there for 6 years. And then from there, again, somebody called me again, and I went to Stockbridge, and I was head coach there for 10.
Yeah, that's where when I met you, you was there. You was at Stockbridge.
Yeah. Because I've been in college now for 5 years. So you probably, was that maybe 14 somewhere in there?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe 14, 13.
Yep.
And we had got it turned around, because when we got to Stockbridge, they had never been to the playoffs ever.
Wow.
Now you guys made your first playoffs game last year. Right?
Well, actually 2 years. That was our second year.
Second year?
My second year in the program, we made the playoffs for the first time in 27 years. And then last year was our second year doing that. So, like I said, we kind of got the expectation level up to where we wanted, and now we just want to improve on that.
Yeah, and so the second year we made the playoffs, and we made the playoffs the next 8 years. You know, we made at least the final 8, 7 straight years. So,
what is Eric Berry doing now?
Eric is, I hate to use the word retired, because I haven't officially heard him doing that. But he's here in the Atlanta area. He just got inducted to Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame in his last class. I think he's been inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame this year. So he's just living his best life, man. You know,
okay.
I know one of his brothers is a high school coach here in town. The other brother, I think he's into music here locally. So they're here, him and his family, doing some great things. Got a few businesses that they own, so they're doing well.
So, any other players that you coached that went on to the league?
Oh man, list them all.
Yeah.
Eric Berry, of course.
Don't forget one now. No, they're gonna be mad if they hear this. Don't forget.
That's right. I ain't gonna say them all. Channing Crowder.
Yeah.
On the Pivot.
Yeah.
Podcast. Channing.
Yeah.
Channing was my first big time play. He went to the University of Florida from North Springs. I coached him at North Springs.
Okay.
So he's on the Pivot with, that they blown up their podcast.
Right.
Really
Yeah.
Loaded now. I'm gonna say currently right now this Brent Cox, who I had at Stockbridge, he's with the Green Bay Packers right now. Kendrick Duncan, who's my quarterback at Stockbridge, he's with the Chicago Bears. He's a DB coach.
Okay.
Sean Dillard, who played receiver at Reed Ann. Ken Webster, who played for me at Stockbridge. Kevius Watkins, who played O-line for me at Creekside. Terrence Parks, who I had at Creekside as well. Man, there's some more. I can't even.
I understand.
Been fortunate to have some really good players. Lombard College. We'll have quite a few this year. Currently from Georgia Southern, my cornerback Kendall Vilgore. He's with the Chicago Bears, starting cornerback for the Chicago Bears. Darryl Baker, who I had at Georgia Southern, he's with the Indianapolis Colts, and then my corner this year, Najee Thompson's with the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. So now the whole time you were coaching high school, was it a goal to move to college where you are now?
I think early on there was, but some of the opportunities, a lot of the opportunities that I had, didn't make sense for my family, so I didn't do it. But as it kept going, I just put my head down and go back to work. Every job I got turned down for, I just put my head down and say, hey, schedule us, and try to take it out on somebody. So,
right.
College was the goal at some point, but I got to the point now when I left Stockbridge to go to New Manchester, I was at that point I was convinced that I was just going to be a high school coach. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how things just happen. Then I get the phone call say, come on down and be the cornerbacks coach. So I think it was a goal. I think everybody wants to coach on the highest level. I've had an opportunity to do the Bill Walsh minority coaching intern twice. I just got done with the Falcons here. With the Atlanta Falcons for 2 weeks. And then prior to that, I did the Seattle Seahawks in 2018. So, working with those guys, working with elite players, I think everybody works at the highest level. So, I'll keep plugging and just try to put the best resume I can together and see what happens.
How did you like, I know, well, we're going to get to that. I'm actually that in a minute. But for the Falcons, you were coaching for 2 weeks, the cornerbacks?
Yeah, cornerbacks. I got to work with two big-time coaches and Jerry Gray. Jerry's probably coached in the league for 28 years. He played for about 9 years. All-pro, college football Hall of Fame guy, played at the University of Texas. When I say I learned so much from him, just sitting there looking at him and some of the things he would say, I'm like, man, I got a notepad full of stuff that I wrote down. The other guy was Steve Jackson, who played a number of years in the league, and he's probably coached 18, 19 years in the NFL too, both for DB, played DB, have coached in the league for a number of different teams. So it was a great experience. But I worked with those guys in terms of players, is AJ Terrell. We got they just got a safety from Jesse Bates from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about him. What do you think about him?
He's the real deal. He was out most of the time that I was there. They just had a baby. Him and his wife just had a baby. Okay. So he wasn't there the entire time I was there. But they got a lot of young talent. Jeff Okudu from Ohio State, he's coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see those guys compete this year because I saw the work they were putting in. Very good in the classroom, very good on the field, very coachable. Trey Flowers was there. He was actually with me in 2018 with the Seattle, so I've been knowing Trey for a number of years. I think he just previously got there from Cincinnati as well. So I'm excited about the Falcons.
Yeah,
they're doing it. I think Arthur Smith is doing it the right way. Those guys are working hard. Everybody's buying in. He was OTA, so guys didn't have to be there. And I would say 90% of the team was there. So, yeah, I'm excited to see him.
Arthur Smith reminds me of Bill Parcells. His demeanor
he's very no nonsense.
Yeah,
he's very no nonsense. It's funny you say that because during my time with the Patriots, when Coach Parcells came in, he cleaned house. And he was like, "Hey, I got to get guys gonna help me win."
Yeah,
pack
or not, I ain't gonna be here.
Nah, the packy stuff. So, no, I think he's a no nonsense guy. I think the guys respect him. I know he does a heck of a job, commanding the room when he's up front. And like I said, I'm excited. I mean, I didn't know a whole lot about the staff and some of the players prior to that opportunity, but I say it was a great opportunity. Everybody was first class, and I'm excited to see him this year.
Speaking of that, what do you think about what Deion did in Colorado? Because I believe a lot of I'm sure you probably hadn't thought about it, or you probably don't need to respond on it, but I'm thinking these coaches that went up to talk to these congressmen were kind of upset at Prime for going in and cleaning house that quickly and bringing in a whole new crew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The transfer portal, you can attend the college coach. The transfer portal has definitely changed the game on some things. Back when I was a player, if you got a scholarship, you were there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to leave because you lost a year eligibility. So, the guys, have got some definitely power. Like I say, and the transfer is not all bad. There's sometimes where kids need a new situation, and now they have an opportunity to do that. Now because the kids are doing that, it's giving coaches the power to do that as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody's, I was looking the other day, Bill Walsh, I think his first 3 years in the league, he was 8-24. Do you know in today's climate, he wouldn't get those?
He's done. He
wouldn't have gotten those opportunities to learn from his mistakes and do it better.
Right.
And so because you don't get 3 years, coaches are trying to take advantage of the system to get guys and help them win right now.
Right.
And the difficult part is to try to win right now, but at the same time sustain success. And it's hard to do that when you got guys coming left and right. You need guys that you can build something with, build a culture with, build an atmosphere with. And it's just hard. So I understand why Coach Prime did what he did. I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to judge me after 1 or 2 years, I got to get guys in here.
I got to get them in there.
Or at least that are on my page. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, that's the other part of college football right now.
Yeah, it is. It's a rarity that you see guys that stay around with a school or even in the league, in the NFL that without winning, you know what I'm saying? They don't give you that many shots like that. So Georgia Southern, when you took the interim head coach position, you had 8 games or something?
8 games, yes, sir.
What did you learn from that head coaching in college that you didn't think about before you took the position? Yeah,
I think that the number one thing I learned that there's so much that college head coaches do off the field. I can't tell you how many media opportunities I had or responsibilities I had to take care of before I even got down to coaching football. So at this level, college level, you got to have 2 really good coordinators who are really organized and they're doing a good job in keeping the staffs where they need to be. I think the one thing I learned as well is that as a head coach, I need to make sure they know exactly what I want. So when they're game planning and in preparation, we get what I want. You know what I mean? So it was a difficult situation, but the guys that I was with, they made it the best. We tried to make it the best we could out of the situation. Anytime somebody's let go, that's not a good situation for the kids or the staff, and you just try to do the best you can with what you got.
Right. So I remember that last game, and I was thinking, I said, man, they gonna, I'm thinking, even though you didn't get the victories that you wanted, I was hoping that you got another shot. I know that you understand how this works. I know you understand that, they're gonna bring in other people. They're gonna do things. They're gonna bring in other people that because they brought in a coach from California, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, he was from Southern Cal, Coach Hilton.
Okay.
Great guy.
I've
learned so much from him in this last year and a half. So Coach Hilton has been a great fit for Georgia Southern. I would be not telling the truth if I say I didn't want the opportunity.
Right.
But Coach Hilton came in, we met, he allowed me to stay on. And I've learned a lot from him. I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to work from him. I've seen some of the things he's brought to our program that I never would have thought of. And so it was good to see. And plus, with his Power 5 experience, with all of the experience he had, it's been a blessing to me just seeing him work. And so I think I'll be a better head coach when the opportunity comes in because of working with him.
Okay. The players that you see at Georgia Southern, well, let me put it this way. The players that you recruited, the ones that you got to come there compared to the ones that went to a bigger institution, a bigger school, did you kind of know that when you started going out recruiting that, okay, this certain group of people probably going to be going this way? Should I still recruit them? Or, have you had, like a shock where you said, well, not a shock, but you was just kind of surprised that that person went to Georgia Southern or the league that you all are in compared to, let's say, Alabama, or, a bigger school?
Yeah, I think, normally in recruiting, you have a recruiting department and you have, a system where you kind of get information on guys and you will know, okay, let's say my position, cornerback. I'll put 50 guys on the board, 50 guys I think can play. I know going into that 25 of them going to be Power 5 kids.
Okay.
Going to Georgia, Alabama.
Right.
Wherever. But everybody can't go to Alabama. Everybody can't go to Georgia. They only have 85 scholarships.
Right.
So I got to weed out the ones that don't get the scholarship. You know what I mean? So, and so you recruit them all. Them all. But as they start committing, your board gets shrink. It goes from 50 to 35, from 35 to 20. And now as guys start falling off the board, you kind of got a sense of who you really got a legitimate chance to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it gets down to about 20. Okay, now, picking up the pace a little bit because I know now I got a legitimate shot to get these guys. But when the season's over in December, in January, I mean, that board's so big, you know what I mean? Because you just look at football players.
Yeah.
And it kind of weeds itself out for us, and but, it works both ways, Tony. You'll be surprised at some guys that drop down to the P5 level, and you'll be shocked some guys that go to Georgia that you didn't think were going to go there. Maybe because of height, maybe because of speed, maybe because of academics. You just never know. Here's the thing too, Tony. Let me cut y'all.
No, go ahead.
I have to recruit them all now. You know why? Because of the transfer portal.
Right.
Because if they go to, a Power 5 school and they third on the depth chart, guess what? They want to play more. You know what I mean? So they
remember you. Yeah.
Yeah. They may see my school as an opportunity where they can play more. Doesn't mean they will, but they may see it as an opportunity to play because we do have a lot of guys that have come to us from the Power 5 rankings. And they got to compete for the job just like everybody else.
The guy that you mentioned, I don't know if it was this year or last year that went to the league that played corner with you. Was he drafted or he walked on? But was he drafted? He was
not a free agent. Kendall Vilgore. Kendall is probably 5'10" and a half. I don't know what he is now, maybe 190-ish. He got invited to the combine, got invited to the Senior Bowl, so they could see him compete against so-called better talent. Now the good thing for him is that, and one thing I like about our schedule at Georgia Southern, every year we're going to play a Power 5 school. So when he was there, we played against Clemson, we played against LSU. So in college, he got to go against Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, all those top guys in college. So he had film to say, I can play with these guys.
Right.
I mean? And so he ended up getting drafted in, I want to say, the 5th round. Went the first year, ended up starting a number of games the second year, and I think it's going into his 3rd season now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got some questions I want to ask you about mental toughness, and I made sure I put them in here because a lot of times I forget to ask these questions, and I just want to see what do you think about it? How would you define mental toughness?
In terms of sports or just period?
I would say let's go with sports right now.
Yeah, the ability to get to the next play. So many things can happen to you in a game that you can't refocus. You're done. You're done. Good. If it's good, focus. If it's bad, focus. Sometimes guys say at my position, if you get beat, when you're a defensive back, if you get beat, everybody in the stadium know you got beat.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you got to let that go and get to the next play. And if you're not mentally tough enough to do that, because guess what? Fans are going to be yelling at you. I'm probably going to give you a few words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you got to move to the next play. So it just being tough enough to block out all the things and get refocused on the task at hand.
Have you seen talented kids that wasn't mentally tough?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Really?
The time. Yeah, all the time. And at some point that catches up with you, Tony. Your talent is only going to take you so far.
Right.
You know, and I'm talking about every level. The talented kids in high school, talented kids in college. It's talented guys in the pros. I mean, there's a reason all first rounders don't end up being great players or Hall of Famers. And that's why you got some guys, like I say, and I hate to say Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's a 7th round draft pick.
Right.
And nobody could see the stuff that wasn't shown in the combine, the mental toughness, the work, the grit, you know, the ability to study, all the things that it take to be great. He had, but you don't see that at the combine. You know what I mean? And that's one of my biggest challenges in recruiting is sitting down with that guy and looking at him eye to eye. And I want to look in his eyes because you can see a level of toughness in a kid's eyes. And
right.
So, but you got guys that are athletic, well, but they're scary as I don't know what. You know.
Wow.
So, no, it's very common. Very common.
Wow. Okay.
But think about this, Tony. You know, what about all the great basketball players that don't want to take the last shot?
Yeah. They don't want that ball.
No.
They don't want
No. I mean, and listen.
Yeah.
Going back to my basketball career, I didn't want that ball. You know, hey, get it to a shooter, man. Get it to a shooter. You know, and again, and so, and it's funny how I say that, you know, but in football, I wanted you to throw it my way because you can't make plays if people don't throw it your way. You know what I mean? And so, but no, I definitely get it. I mean, when you're not confident in something, you're not tough enough to stand it. But I mean,
right.
You know,
hey, is it a way that you can build that in a person or?
Definitely. I mean, and you know, it's reps. You know, you work on something. If you're not a good reader, reading every day builds up confidence for you to read. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not good. I mean, you know, right now I got a son going to the 9th grade. He's starting his high school football career. And like I'm actually sitting in the car he's doing some practice right now. But all I talk to him about the mental part of it. You know, if he is out there every day and he's working hard, I need him to play hard, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and then no matter what happens, get over it. You know what I mean? And just you know, when you're a 9th grader and you come in, those guys are a lot bigger than you, so you're naturally a little intimidated. You know, but if you had a varsity game, you need to be understanding what the plays is. You know, do all the little things that are going to help you down the road. And so, it's just finding a way to get it done.
You think that sports is a good way to cultivate that toughness in a person? Even, you know, like for example, Coach Prime said that he says, you know, that 98% or 97% of the guys are not going to go to the league later on. He said, I think a lot of corporations are missing out on coming and interviewing these guys because they already leaders, they're already tough. They've already got that grit and grind that they can go and lead a marketing team or they can go and lead, you know, another. So do you think that sports is a good way to develop that?
Yeah, I think it's a great way, particularly the game of football. And all the different sports give you lessons. I mean, it's something, you know, to show up every day on time, doing things the right way, being coachable, being a good teammate. You know, some people don't have any experience with those things. You know, so sports allows you because again, in business, guess what? Well, let me tell you this. No, it's nothing in this world you were designed to do by yourself. You know, nothing. That's why you're family. I mean, there's absolutely nothing you were designed to do by yourself. If you can do it by yourself, the dream is too small. You got to have some other people.
Right.
All right. Now, if you never work with other people, if you don't know anything about teamwork, man, it's a long life.
Yeah.
So you got to ask for help. You got to be able to be coachable. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. So again, you come in and you learn. Everybody that you meet, you're gonna learn something from, whether it's good or bad. I'm gonna do it like this, or I'm not gonna do it like this. So every coach that I've ever dealt with, I've had some good things and some bad things that I would do it like this, I wouldn't do it that way. And so, but everything that in this world is designed for you to do it with somebody else.
Right.
You know, and so where else in sports? Again, in football, I mean, I tell my defensive backs all the time, I said, guys, you name me one defensive back that hadn't got run over, I'm gonna show you a defensive back that hadn't played. He has not played.
Wow.
It's impossible for you not to get run over.
Run over. Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Just
Just keep throwing it up in there. Keep throwing it up in there. You know, and so DBs get a reputation of being a hit man just by the one time you throw it up in there, you knock him out.
Right.
That's not happening every time.
Right.
But because you're willing to do it, you're labeled as a hit man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but you gotta, it's something about getting run over and getting back up and doing it again. You know what I mean? And you're talking about tough. You talking about tough.
Yeah.
Again, even your boys laughing at you. Ooh,
I was just about to say, I know they catch hell in the film session.
Yeah,
run that back.
Yeah, but I'm the one in the film session say, hey, now how many of y'all would have stuck your face in there? You know what I mean? And so when that happens in our room, I applaud the guy. Okay. Particularly when he gets up and the next play, he ain't affected by it. You know, you got some guys that get run over and they whole game gone. I mean, they done for the rest of the day. And again, it goes back to knowing your players and looking in their eyes, because you may need to sub him out because he's done.
Right.
You know, but you got to know your players, and you got to be a relationship where you can feel them out. And again, you know, it's just a part of life, man. Everybody's gonna fall. Everybody's gonna get knocked down. Everybody's gonna be laughed at. Everybody's gonna be talked about. Everybody's gonna come up short. But what are you gonna do tomorrow? What are you gonna do tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, so it comes back to what am I going to do tomorrow? And so
do that again, Val. Tell him again.
I mean, I can't. I just don't. I mean, you got to learn to fight, Tony.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got to learn to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Another prime example. I took my son and a couple of his friends to their first what they call mega camps. It was HBCU mega camp. They had it at Morehouse.
Okay.
And you know, it's 300 or 400 kids there. And
that was about 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago. If that, maybe 2 weeks ago.
That's when Coach Prime was supposed to come. He had surgery though.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No doubt. So I took my son to get his first experience of mega camps because all the college coaches are there. And so when we got out the car, I talked. I said, "Look, guys, do you realize at the end of the day, you can have a college scholarship and you ain't even in high school?" I say, so understand, we ain't out here for fun. We out here working.
Yeah.
You out here getting better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you learn from all of it, whatever. And I said, guys, understand, these guys are going to be jumping up in front of that line. You better get yourself up there.
Mm-hmm.
You better get yourself up there. So I sit up in the stands. I'm dad. I'm sitting up in the stands. And I look up. I done seen guys go 2 or 3 times. I seen my little 2 or 3 guys ain't went once. So, and I knew it was going to happen to me because it's so overwhelming.
Right.
They got to understand they're dogs out here.
Yes.
In the business world, in the professional world, in the educational world, there are dogs out here.
Right.
Guys that will eat you up. All right. And here's the thing. When you raise good kids, they better be able to flip that switch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I will say this, that's one of the greatest things that I saw with Eric Berry.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best kid off the field. The absolute best kid. And man, he get on the football field, it's like, I mean, his name wasn't Eric no more. I mean, he hit his best friend. He didn't care.
Right.
He was a totally different person on the field. But when he came off, he was the best kid in school. I mean, you know, respectful. And you have to be able to push that button. When it's time to compete,
right,
you got to be able to compete. And that's part of the mental toughness part of it, that I got to go get this or somebody's going to take it from me. Yeah.
You got to, you got to have that burning desire inside of you, right? That really, you know, and I know how, you know, some players say, you know, I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my mother. So you really got to have a bigger goal than me, because I get up every day going for it.
That's right. And I tell you this, another thing I heard about, I heard Curtis Martin say it in his Hall of Fame speech. It was from Bill Parcells, and that's why I still keep it in my mind. Coach Parcells said, don't ever get out of the huddle because you don't know who getting in it and why they getting in it.
Don't leave the huddle.
So that guy getting that huddle and his mama don't know how she's going to eat tomorrow. That man ain't coming out that huddle.
Yeah.
You know, and so, and here's the good thing. I'd say that one thing, you want to raise good kids, but again, when it's time to get tough, they got to be tough.
Yeah.
And they got to be able to I mean, just compete. I mean, that's everything. I mean, you must. I mean, if you don't want to be the best, why are you doing it?
Why doing it? Yeah.
Why are you doing it? And so compete to be. And listen, not competing against you. Competing to be better. I want to be a better Kevin Whitley tomorrow than I am today.
Okay.
I'm not competing against Tony Fleming.
You're right.
I got to compete against Kevin Whitley.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be the best K Whitley I can be.
Right.
And so I want to be. And so that's the competition. Is the guy in the mirror. I'm the only guy that can hold me back. You're the only guy that can hold you back. And so that's what the things you try to teach the people. Look here, put the fear away. Hell, everybody's scared. Make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's scared. Nobody want to get in front of the room, Tony, and talk.
No, nobody.
You know what I mean? And people assume that people who are good speakers are comfortable. I mean, just
no.
You gotta psych yourself up.
Yeah, every time.
So you like, let's go.
I know, every time.
You know what I mean? Every time you get up in front of them, you are really like, going to a zone.
Yeah.
You're taking yourself to a zone.
Yeah.
And
hey, every time we turn this microphone on, I'm sure when you got in the car getting ready for this, you had to get prepared for just the interview, just like I have
no doubt
to say this.
No doubt.
Yep.
I mean, every time, like when you get in front of a team and you're trying to inspire people and motivate people and get people to go to the next level, you want to. I mean, you so want to give them something that they can use.
Mm-hmm.
That just talking normal doesn't get it. They got to hear the passion. They got to hear that you're serious about what you're talking about. And
that goes in line with what you said about a cornerback or a safety getting beat. What do you tell yourself after that happens?
Next play, next.
You don't even think about it.
No, listen. And and me as a coach, if I see something listen. Here's the thing: as a cornerback, and man, you're playing against the best, most athletic guys in the world. DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson, Chase,
right?
Tyreek Hill,
right?
You gonna get beat?
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't. It just can't be every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to win your battles. So when you do get beat, you try to learn and why did he beat me here? What did he do? And then you try to get better off of it. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to fail, but that's how we're gonna learn it. You know what I mean?
I remember Julio Jones saying that I'm going against that corner, and I know where I'm going, and he don't know where I'm going. It's gonna be hard on him every day. He said, that corner got to understand that there's a time that you will win, some you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose some.
No doubt. The thing for us though is that they, like you said, they know where they're going. We don't. It's the hardest position in football and sports, I would imagine.
Right.
It's because you're playing against world-class athletes who know where they're going.
Yep.
You don't.
You're on an island out there. Yeah.
So what we have to do is really rely on technique. There are certain techniques that allow you or give yourself a chance to be successful. And also, you want to know where your help is, Tony. If I got some help, I'm gonna funnel them to my help. But if I ain't got no help, make them throw the long ball. Make them make the perfect throw, the perfect catch. And then they say, because everybody's not perfect. Now, again, to me, the best, every top corner got good defensive linemen because they don't have a whole lot of time to throw it.
Right.
I mean, you can't cover them but 3 or 4 seconds. After that D-line better be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's a team effort.
That goes back to the team thing. That's like,
ain't no doubt.
Yeah, a person that even comes into business, the successful ones know how to take advantage of their teammates. Hey, you good at this, I'm good at that. Let's, I don't have to be able to do everything. Let's run this play, Yeah,
no doubt. And see, for us, like, over my 4 years of college football, we've kind of been 3 defensive systems, right? And so, again, going back to what Dion, when you come to a college program, some of the guys are good players, but they don't do what you need them to do. Meaning that you got some cornerbacks that are really good playing off man. You got some guys that are really good in press.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're a really good press guy, you may not know a lot of zone coverages. So you struggle in zone. Ain't that you're a good player, the system not fit what you do. And that's why you try to find the strength of your play and you play to those strengths. If that makes sense. And so, like, for example, me and you in business together, Tony, if you know, if student A is a better speaker in front of the group, you're gonna put them in front of the group. And you're gonna have me working the flip chart. You know what I mean? Or doing, you know, greeting them at the door or whatever.
Exactly.
Everybody has a role. Everybody can't do what Mr. Fleming is doing.
Right.
Everybody can't be on stage. Somebody got to do the audio. Somebody's got to do the lights. Somebody's got to do the PowerPoint presentation. So everybody has a skill set, and once we can figure out what everybody's good at, and everybody wants to win, you got a shot. You got a shot.
Yeah, and that's key, because if you want to do everything and you want to be, you know, you want everything to shine on you, it's going to be hard, you know, for a business, for you in business to win, or you as a team to win.
No doubt. And Tony, my biggest thing coming to college, when I was in high school, I was never able to hire my entire staff, meaning that when I went to a school, I had to take the coaches that were there.
Right. Okay.
And so, you know, but every year, you know, somebody would leave and I would bring guys in. So maybe by year 3, I had my guys, you know what I mean? But initially I didn't have my guys coming in. And I think that you got to surround yourself with people who want to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, I think you got a chance to be successful.
How's your guy doing?
Nick Davis. I know you talking about Nick.
Christian Academy.
yeah. Nick Davis.
How's Nick doing?
He's doing great. He's head coach at Fayette County High School.
Okay.
He's living down in the Griffin area. He's doing great. You know, he's probably on year 27, maybe.
Okay. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. I'm gonna call him as soon as I get off of here.
Tell him I say hello.
I will.
Let me make sure I get to some of these questions, man, because like I got one here that says, which fear you think prevents me from reaching my greatest potential? What fear do you think? Or just fear alone? I mean, is it a particular fear, or is one of being ashamed, or is it one of, you know, somebody laughing at you? Somebody, I don't.
I think the number one thing is get over the fear of being embarrassed and ashamed. Nobody wants to look bad. You know what I mean? And like if it's sports, nobody wants to get run over. If you're in basketball, nobody wants to get dunked on. You know, if it's baseball, nobody wants to strike out. And so, but it's all come from peer pressure, I guess, of people laughing at you or I think if people got over that one fear, I think we would all be better. You know what I mean?
Because we all have to be bad to get to good. So you got to go through that.
No doubt, but like I said, most of us play it safe and don't ever get to that. Or we try it, people laugh, and we kind of stop it. You know what I mean? And I've been guilty of that as well. So I just think that everything starts with belief, Tony. You got to believe you that guy.
Okay.
Well, in the day they say I'm him. You gotta believe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you got to believe you him or her.
Yeah.
I think if you can say that to yourself every day, and then just grow through it, you know, I think you give yourself a shot to do it. But I just think the biggest fear, just fear itself, and just being embarrassed. Nobody wants people laughing at them.
As a leader, what made you act out of character? What would happen that made you behave out of character? Is it anything in particular that would like?
It depends on what out of character is. Kevin is totally different from Coach Witt. You know what I mean? So it depends on what it is. But I mean, out of character. You talking about? Let's
just say you are. I mean, what upsets you more than anything when you know, as you build it?
Well, you know what? I think for me, let's say as a coaching profession, the thing that has probably got me there more than anything is that when people attack my family. Okay. And so, you know, it takes special people to be a coach's family, a wife, kids, mom, and because they sit in the stands with the people. Right. You know what I mean? So as long as you don't mess with them, I'm good. You know what I mean? I can take all of they ain't practicing, they ain't watching no film. Yeah. They ain't doing none of that. So they have nothing to do. They watch the game just like you. And so I think that's the one thing that's probably almost got me there and probably has gotten me there a couple of times is that
Mm-hmm.
when, you know, my wife or my mom or somebody's catching hell up in the stands.
I got you. What about in a player? Let's say you looking at a player and somebody that you recruited, that you brought on and at practice or in the game, what drive you bonkers the most in that player? Is it that they give up, that they slack?
Just effort, man. Here's the thing, Tony. Right now, I mean, being a high school coach as long as I was, I can't tell you how many guys dreamed of getting a football scholarship. And so when I get to college, I know what those 85 guys have been thinking about since they were 6 years old, is getting a football scholarship. Now, what drives me crazy is all the stuff you've done to get here, and now you don't want it. You won't play hard. You won't, I mean, everything else can be taught, but I got, effort is non-negotiable, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Effort is non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play hard, I can deal with everything else. But everything else, I'm here to help you with.
Right.
But if you ain't gonna play hard, I mean, everything else I'm saying don't mean anything. You know, you got to play hard. You got to play with effort and energy. Everybody can do effort and energy. It takes no talent to play hard as you can. So give effort and energy, and everything else, you know, will fall into place for me.
What about something what do you do to boost your mood if you down? I mean, because I know it's probably hard for you to get down because you're so always motivated. But what would you say that would boost your mood to get you going? Is it competition? Is it somebody saying something to you? You know how Jordan used to just create lives in his head. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. I mean, I think everybody does that to a certain extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like I run about 20 miles a week, Tony.
Okay.
So I'm about 5 miles. I mean, 4 days. You know, I ain't like my brother, but probably 5 miles 4 days a week is what I do. And every day I'm out there, I tell myself, no other defensive back coach in the country is doing this. You know, so I'm making stuff up to keep me motivated to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and so you always talk to yourself whether it's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always talking to yourself. And so I love competition, but what gets me excited is when I see guys reach their full potential. I mean, I recruited this guy. I knew he was going to be good, and you know, damn it, he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And he's every day he's working to get better. He wants to get better. He's asking questions. He's taking notes. He's leading the young guys. You know what I mean? So you just try to, because see, all those things gonna carry way beyond football. You know what I mean? At some point, you got a family. At some point, you got children. At some point, you got, you know, X, Y, Z. So it's good. And I tell you this, Tony, like this weekend, and you're invited.
Okay.
We're having this reunion in Buckhead.
Okay.
It's all my former players.
Okay.
And so there are going to be some guys there, Tony, that people, had they bet money on some of these guys in ninth grade, they bet they were going to be in prison.
Wow.
But football saved them.
Yeah.
Football gave them a reason to come to school every day, and it's my job as they there every day to give them what we need to get them to. And not just me, but all of our coaches and teachers and educators. And you'll be shocked by so many young people that are in school for sports. You know, and if you got in there every day, you got to keep putting stuff in them. And I could call some names out, man, that when I see them on Saturday, man, I mean, hell, I may cry because I know where they come from.
Wow.
I know what they could have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And guess what? They're not professional football players. You know, I got one, you know, there's a doctor, got, you know, millionaire entrepreneurs. I mean, it goes on and on, man. So it's gonna be good to see these guys, because the problem, as you know as well, is that, like, Tony, I've been knowing you 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
How many times I've seen you in the last year and a half? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But guess what? It ain't because I don't like you. It ain't because you ain't tight.
Yeah.
We just don't make time to see each other.
See
you know
each other,
what I mean? Everybody's got their own hustle and blah, blah, blah. And so, and so I wanted to do something that would bring us together, you know. And so I wanted to be an annual thing to where we come together, may do a golf tournament, may do this, and just give me an opportunity to see these guys. But the biggest thing too, Tony, which has been crazy for me, is that I wanted to connect the dots. Like, for example, I'll look on social media and I got a couple guys that are party promoters, and they're promoting parties for another guy that I coach, but they don't know I coach.
Yeah, y'all even know each other. Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, so I'm just trying to connect the dots.
Okay.
And
that's your son?
Yeah, that's my son.
Okay.
And so that's my big deal right there, man. That I see these guys, they know each other, but they don't know that I'm the common thread. You know what I mean? And like I said, we got guys that are real estate agents, we got guys that are doctors. I mean, why wouldn't you go to your teammate to buy a house?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're looking for a business opportunity, why would you not go to your friend, your teammate, or a guy who knows a guy, or man. And so as we were promoting the party, one of the guys I talked about, nobody thought he'd, make it, was he said, "Man, coach, that's my cousin." I said, "It's your cousin?" But I coached them guys 10 or 15 years apart.
Right.
I had no clue they were related.
Right.
And so that's kind of what it is. It's just trying to,
I laugh about what you said about if it wasn't for football, what these guys would be doing. Charles Barkley said, "Man, some of these guys ain't playing basketball. They'll be breaking in your car."
That's right. Ain't no doubt.
So, people had given up on them. Yeah.
Ain't no doubt, man. And you just got to find the kids' hot button. You know what I mean? And most time when kids come to school angry or whatever, it's not about you.
Right.
There's something going on. And if you don't take time to know them, you don't know what the situation is.
Mm-hmm. Couple of more questions, man. We're gonna wrap it up. Let's see. Is there any particular thing that you might find yourself beating yourself up over that you have to come back and say, "Hey, I shouldn't have." What did you beat your own self up over? What do you think that you should have? That's the superstar there in the back seat. I see him.
Yeah, he back there.
I'm seeing. I remember when he was this small.
I know. Now he taller than me.
Yeah. So, but is any particular thing that you beat yourself up over? Like, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I shouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think beat myself over. Certain things. Tony, and man, where had the last 10 to 15 years gone? I mean, gone. Yeah. And I was at the front of some opportunities. I was at the back of some opportunities. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, no regrets. I think you learn from it all. Mm-hmm. But there were clearly some shots I should have took. You know what I mean?
Okay. Right.
Some shots I should have took. So, but you try to pass that on. You try to move forward because again, there are going to be other shots that come that you need to be ready to shoot. You know what I mean? Okay. So again, that's the mental toughness part. Not dwelling on that. Just getting to the next one. Hey, okay, I missed telecom. Or whatever. Or I
missed that. I got to move to the next one.
Yeah, got to move to the next one. Believe me, there are always opportunities out here if you got your eyes open to see them.
Okay. Give me, I'm a book guy. Give me one of your favorite books.
Man, Dennis Kimbrough is one of my favorite authors.
Okay.
So any book by him, will get it. But he, I really fell in love with him because he was a professor at Clark. He was a local guy. I never met him.
Right.
But all of his books was like,
He did the one, What Makes the Great Great?
Makes the Great Great?
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the one I've read maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
But like I said, man, there's so much material out there now.
Yeah, I know. When you ask that question, I know it's hard to think about it right quick. You probably think about it later on.
Yeah, but Dennis Kimbrough is one of my guys. He also rewrote Napoleon Hill book. Yep.
Think and Grow Rich, the Black Choice.
Yep, no doubt. So it's been a number of things, and you try to be active in the reading part, and I'm probably at 4 books a year. Yeah, could be more. You know what I mean?
That's good though. That's good.
Most try to about 4. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I try to read 10 or 15 pages a day, something like that. But like I said, it's so many. You talking about regret? It's so many shots I still got to take. You know what I mean?
Right. Because
I'm a coach, but there's so much more I can do. I can write a book. I can this or that. And so, all those things, are very intriguing to me.
So tell me this, man. I know I'm not the only one that's going to say this, but how many people have said that you remind them of the Steelers coach?
Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, the demeanor.
You first wanted to say it.
Really? Yeah, you got the same demeanor as Mike Tomlin to me.
Yeah, nobody's ever said that to me. But
what do you think about him? Have you ever met him? You hadn't met him?
I've never met him. I think he's outstanding. I've heard some things about his interview that always stuck with me. But I he's one of the best of the best. Never had a losing season in the NFL. Just doing it the right way. He's doing it the right way. I think he's adjusted to the times. The game is not what it was when he became a head coach in terms of how you can practice and when you can practice or things that you can do. But no, he's definitely a guy that I would love to meet and work with sometime.
Okay. I always ask everybody until I forget, because I forgot to ask Kwame this question, but I ask a lot of people when I interview them. This is the big question.
Okay.
Who's the GOAT, LeBron or Michael?
Let's see. I see all your posts about LeBron.
Hey man, I like LeBron, but I'm always messing with him.
Listen, you own him all the time. You know what, Tony? I think the answers you get to that question is based on when you were watching it. Nobody will ever take Michael Jordan's place in my mind.
Right.
Now, but I got to be, honest enough to say LeBron is the all-time leading scorer.
Right.
All-time leading assist.
Right.
I mean, when you talk about LeBron James, the hype he came into the league with, and he's exceeded every one of them.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. If somebody want to give him the go, I'm not gonna argue with it.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not gonna argue with it. But let's go back to what you talk about. Nobody was more mentally tough than Michael Jordan.
Oh God.
But without question, I want to say this about both. LeBron James is this generation's best player. And I think Jordan was clearly that generation's best player. Now, who's the best? I think I'm biased. I would say Michael Jordan, just because mentally what he was able to do, and I knew him. Michael Jordan is not going to back away from any level of competition or any player that comes up. I think LeBron James would meet the challenge because he will pose some problems for a player like a Jordan, any player, because he's 6'8", 260. But I would have loved to seen the matchup. But I'm going to say Michael Jordan without question.
And if you were able to see that and witness it, it's hard to give anybody that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People talk about eras and all that kind of stuff, and I don't get into that because it's just who you like. You know what I mean? Some other guys other day say Paul George was the GOAT. You know what I mean? So everybody's got an opinion. I'm not gonna argue with a man's opinion.
Right.
But Michael Jordan is my guy because of what I saw him go through early on. And it's a different game. They kill this guy going into the paint.
Oh yeah.
Where he was, started lifting weights more, and that last dance thing was.
Oh man, you saw how emotional he got because he was like, "Hey man, you ain't got to play the way I play." You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it,
you ask all my teammates. One thing about Michael Jordan was he never asked me to do something that he didn't do. When people see this, they're gonna say, "Well, he wasn't really a nice guy. He may have been a tyrant." Oh, well, that's you, because you never won anything. I wanted to win, but I wanted them to win and be a part of that as well. Like, I don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because it is who I am. That's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Break.
He ain't playing no more. He's still crying. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because all of us are programmed to do it the way you do it. You know what I'm saying? And he just, I'm not taking it. Let me tell you something. What LeBron James has done on the court, off the court, bringing his friends along. You know how hard it is to bring your friends along?
Friends along with you,
And then he empowered his friends.
Oh, yeah.
That is,
and they hadn't gotten in any trouble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
In social media?
Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Tony.
Yeah, I know.
In social media at Jackson State, we
I
had
know.
a podcast.
Oh man, I'll be it'll be over with.
I mean, it wouldn't even be a podcast. So
I know.
I mean, to think about what he's done and how he's done it, I have no problem with saying that. But
yeah, he could be. Yeah, I got you.
If I got one game to win, I'm taking Michael Jordan every day of the week. I'm taking him every day of the week.
Michael Jordan was a scorer first, second, and third. He was a phenomenal finisher of the game. And
all day.
And it ain't even close to me. It ain't even close. I ain't got to think about it.
And what I mean by that is Michael Jordan stopped playing the game. He stopped having to facilitate. He didn't have to do all those things. He just finished the game.
What's your first pick? Give me Jordan.
I know.
He finished it. He was, I think, the game's greatest finisher because he had no weakness in his game. When he played the game, especially in the fourth quarter, we refer to him as a three-dimensional player. He's either going to score, he's going to get fouled, or he was going to go to the free throw line and make the 2 free throws. And not many players can do that in the last 4 minutes of a game. Jordan was the best. He was just three-dimensional in every way, every phase of the game, especially coming down the stretch.
Look, Coach, man, I appreciate your time, man, and I wish you luck in the future with Georgia Southern. You a big round of applause. And, whatever other endeavors that come your way, man, I got to get to a game this year. I didn't catch one last year, but I got to. But I was thinking about, before we wrap it up, what was that song y'all used to play at Stockbridge before the team came on the field? What was that?
Man,
it was something about the jungle.
Oh yeah, that you had to talk to Chief about that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the chief of our All-2C program.
Yeah.
102,000. This could be a very tough environment. SEC Saturday night.
That's one of the greatest stages of college football back there is.
Launching downfield and intercepted. All the way to the end zone. You ready for some football?
Welcome to the jungle. I got there. I was looking for somebody who was going to be excited about announcing game.
Man, we used to get them fired up, boy. They coming to welcome to the jungle.
He took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
He's still doing it. He's still there. He's still doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's still there. I mean, he loves Stockbridge football. They're doing some good things there, and but he just took it to another level, and gave me the nickname the Admiral. So I mean, and he's one of a kind for real.
Man, I was boy, there was some good games going there. I remember that last game I was there. It was so cold, and you got to the final, not the finals. You got to the game before the finals.
Yeah, semifinals 3 times.
Couple times, yeah, three times.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like I said, you got to be a little lucky. At the end of the day, again, you talk about leaders. It's on me. It ain't on the kid. It's on me. At the end of the day, I got to get it done.
Get them across that finish line.
We got to get them across the finish line. And we didn't do it. As much success we had, at the end of the day, if you're the leader, you got to understand it's on you. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that. All
right, Coach. Appreciate it, man. I know you got to go. We'll talk to you later, man. I appreciate your time. And, hey, man, I'm going to give another shout out to Billy and his Southeast Mortgage for sponsoring our show again. And
no doubt. He the best in the business now. So, everybody listening, they need to go and check him out.
Yeah, you get a mortgage. Make sure you talk to Billy Witt. All right, man.
Mental toughness. He's everybody.
You got it. You got it. He told me he does 8 miles a day, like something like that, 7 miles.
He's training for the marathon, so he's trying to qualify for the Boston. And so he's got a coach and everything. So it's not a consistent 8 miles. It's one day, a long day maybe 13, a quick day maybe 5. So he's got a system.
He says bar injury, he hadn't missed a day in 12 years unless he was injured.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow.
I can't say that, so but I'm 4 days a week, 5 miles a day, and
that's boost. That's still beast. Yeah.
But like I said, my brother, I can't get the big head because my brother's so far in front of me. So, again, it's competition.
Oh, hold on. I need to ask you to tell me this before you leave. First of all, what happened to the red Volkswagen?
Red Volkswagen.
You don't have a red Volkswagen in college?
I had a red Scirocco. Yeah.
That's a Volkswagen, right? Scirocco.
Yeah, Scirocco.
Yeah. What happened to that?
Man, I have no idea.
You don't remember what?
I guess I sold it. I don't know.
Okay.
But that was my ride. My dad took me to get that. I think after my freshman year of college.
Okay.
Sure it is.
And last thing, tell me the Butchie story.
Which one?
Butchie on the bus with the windows.
Oh, Butchie. Man, Butchie, my second year playing football. Okay, let me. That first year I played, I was awful, Tony. I told you about 75 pounds.
Yeah.
That summer, I fall off a motorcycle.
Okay.
So I fall off a motorcycle. I can't walk for like 3 months. So I gained all this weight, and so, Doc said, you're not gonna play football, blah blah blah. My dad said, no, he's gonna play, and so my dad allows me to play. And I gained all this weight while I got hurt. So the next year, I'm in the 4th grade, but I'm playing with all 7th graders.
Right.
And it's Butchie and Daryl Thompson and all these guys are 7th graders. I'm on this team. I'm a 4th grader. So I'm sitting there quiet. And one day Daryl says, coach said, you got a running back? And Daryl said, well, Kevin can do it. Man, and from that point on, it took off, Tony. It just
really?
Yeah, but Butchie was our quarterback. His dad was our coach. I don't want to go into too many details, but he probably got a life sentence.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Butchie got a life sentence. He was a bad man. But they
he told me about the on the bus when the girl kept talking, he let them windows down. You said
yeah. Let me tell you something. Butchie, this is how bad it was. It was you know how cold it was that football game that night?
Yeah.
It was that cold.
Okay.
We're on the school bus. I guess I'm in the 8th grade. Butchie probably in the 11th grade, maybe 12. And he lets down every window on the bus and dares anybody to touch him.
Even the bus driver?
Anybody. And Tony, we drive for probably 40 minutes freezing. And nobody touched that window. Nobody touched the window. And so, but that, that mentality got him in trouble for down the road.
Yeah.
Off there, I'll tell you more details. But he was great to me. Nobody touched me because those guys,
right? They liked it.
Playing with 7th grade. But they got me tough that year because again, and I tell you this too, and my son back there, he'll hear this, but that was the year I realized that you could play with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're a 9th grader in high school, you don't want to go against a senior.
Right.
When you're a freshman in college, you may be going against a guy been in college 7 years.
Exactly.
When you become a rookie in the NFL, you've been a guy 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
So the quicker you can get over that, the better off you'll be in terms of the mental toughness part of just realizing you, again, go back to the belief part.
Right.
And if you believe in yourself, that takes care of itself. And that's where I got that first belief playing with those older guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Was my 4th grade year. I was with all 7th graders.
Get in the trenches and
just go. They're gonna have to prove that they're better than you. You know what I mean? But
I'm keep trying to tell you got to go, but I don't want to let you go. But I want to ask you this last one too. What do y'all still do that drill? They said that turned every football player into a basketball player.
Go get him!
Nah, man, they'll put you in jail now, Tom.
What was that called?
Oklahoma drill.
Yeah.
Drill, and the different versions of it. But now, the game has just changed, Tony. It's just, when I was growing up, it was always get your head across.
Yeah. Now
we teach tackling with the head not being in it. You know what I mean? Because we don't want concussions. We don't want, some of the challenges down the road for kids. We want the game to be safe.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's still car wrecks every game.
Yeah.
And what he did there was hammer a defenseless punt returner.
Yeah.
I mean, some things
you
just
have
can't
that
game. The only time I get upset with it, you know when it's malicious. You can look at it and see when somebody's trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Than just being a great
hit,
aggressive hit tackle.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So now just keeping the head out of it. But Oklahoma, man, let me tell you something, Tony. You talking about tough?
Yeah.
Football used to be where you could get them tough. If you didn't come tough, you were gonna leave tough if you stayed out there.
Tough, yeah. Exactly.
Get him back in there. Put him back in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that.
Not that anymore.
No, not like that anymore.
All right, man. Let's get out of here before I ask you another question.
All right. Well, hey, we'll do one mid-season or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah. All right, Coach.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.